Good evening, people. I am JJ,
And I'm CJ.
and we are the Radio Twins.
And this is the Radio
Twins
Twins
Experience.
Experience.
I know we always got to say that in unison or something.
No, you started it,
right?
me.
Definitely. If you ever want to follow us on social media, you can always follow us on Twitter, which is now called X, Facebook fan page.
I'm still going to call it Twitter.
Instagram, Twitch, you name it. YouTube, Facebook fan page. You follow us, we follow you back. But if you want to find out what we're doing, where we are, you can always go to TheRaydioTwins.com.
That's TheRaydioTwins.com.
And if you ever want to check out our apparel line, you can always go to the same website, look for the tab that says Born to Win Store. That's BORN, the number 2, WINSTORE.com. There you'll find socks, shoes, well, not shoes yet.
Right.
We want to do
not
that.
Not yet, but it's coming.
Right. So, and of course, this show, the Radio Twins Experience, we always try to interview interesting individuals. And as far as tonight, this is the same thing. Interesting, very interesting interview that we're about to do tonight. And we have the lovely, the queen, Sistah D.
Thank you.
Right.
It's
to read her bio. I mean, it's a long list, but it's a long positive list. First of all, she's a CEO.
So for those who just didn't hear, CEO.
Crazy.
And the name of her company. Matter of fact, tell us the name of your company or business.
So I have a few, but the organization, Sound the Alarm International, that started in 2001. And it started with doing free community cookouts and concerts for Baltimore County and Baltimore City. At that time, I brought in over 600 people. We did it from 2001 to 2004. Then we did it in 2009. Then we did it in 2014. So we brought in a lot of different Christian hip hop artists and gospel reggae artists from all over the country. And we would be all day. It would start from maybe 1 to 8. And it would be 18 artists. I had maybe 5 DJs.
Wow.
And we would do, and then I had a church that would come down from Philly and they would do the fish fry portion of it. So we would give away hamburgers, hot dogs, and fish fry. And then we also had someone else that would come down and bring school supplies. So we would give away school supplies. We had the basketball court, we had face paint, we had puppets, we had all kinds of stuff going on. It was all for the community. I don't do the community cookouts. I haven't started back up doing them as of yet. Not saying that I won't. I probably start doing it next summer. But from there, I moved into doing hip hop shows, Christian hip hop shows.
Okay.
And I put a couple of those together: the Show Love Show, the Nightlight series. So yeah.
I mean, your rap sheet is like. How did you come up with the name Sound? It's kind of self-explanatory, but how did you come up with the name Sound?
So, I had a core team working with me, and it's a sense of urgency. It's a sense of urgency. So we just kind of was like going back and forth for some names. I didn't know if I was going to add international on it. And one of my bros was like, why not? Why would you limit yourself and not add international? So it's like a sense of urgency. And so the motto was finding the problem and making solutions. Because a lot of times we just find a problem, but we won't go forward and try to make the solution that's needed in order to, solve the problem. So It was really like a sense of urgency in reference to getting the gospel out, reaching people, connecting with people, and being right, just being empathetic toward people.
Okay. Now, you also do music.
I do.
How did you get into that or start doing that?
That's a long rap sheet. I actually started doing I do hip hop. I'm an MC, and I started by doing poetry. And I started like in 8th grade doing poetry. Then I moved to spoken word as I got older. And then I got back into rap. And then it was hardcore hip hop for a while. That was like in the 90s.
Okay.
and then at the time, then I got into Christian hip hop. So I kind of really didn't find my way as far as what my style was. I kind of just was going with the beats that were given to me. So
Mm-hmm.
beats that, and then back in the day, as a female rapper, you kind of got the last of the beats. You got the last choice in the beat. So I kind of had to make do with what I had, and I had to take it and make it seem like it was customly made for me. So then from there, I kind of evolved into where I am now, as far as understanding my style and not trying to fit into someone's way of thinking of how I should rap. I do more like neo soul type of hip hop.
Okay.
Like I can take a jazz beat and I can rhyme over a jazz beat. I can
Hey,
rhyme over a Nina Simone beat. You know
hey.
what I mean? So, Jill Scott, India, whatever.
Yep.
So that's just kind of how things kind of turned from there. Yeah, I took a little while as I began motherhood. I took a long time off, but I started back in 90. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of, the thing is, I wasn't real consistent with it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
What
trying to be
what
more consistent.
what made you make the transition from, like you said, hardcore to Christian?
Well, I got into the church. I got into the church around 98, 99. No, I'm gonna say like 99, 2000. I got into the church. And so I used to do hardcore. I was, in the streets. I was with a group that was like a community group. We were like preparing for Armageddon, preparing for the things that come.
Right.
Um, I listened to a lot of Boot Camp Click, I listened to a lot of Mobb Deep, Red Man, so
Uh,
and that's still part of me. Don't get it twisted.
right.
Don't
Exactly. I feel you. I
you
feel.
know, we got a show coming up, and I'm gonna definitely bring a little bit of it, but
Okay.
but balance it back out.
Right.
But yeah, so when I got into the church, um, then I started connecting with a lot of different artists, and so from there, it just kind of helped mellow me out some as far as my style. But then I still, even within Christian hip hop, I still was, just kind of hard, just kind of trying to feel like I gotta always bring a thump with a mean face,
Right.
and I had to just kind of relax and realize who I am and what it is I'm trying to bring and how I'm trying to bring it. I'm always bringing a message of hope in some type of way, encouragement in some type of way. But I just realized like I just had to be comfortable in my own skin.
Right.
I don't need to be like anybody else. I just, I'm in my own lane.
Because when you're you, more
Mhm.
eyes will be attracted to that as opposed to you mimicking someone else. So I think
Right.
that's a good idea to do.
Now, here's another question.
Mhm.
When you started to understand that you were slowly but surely transitioning from hardcore to Christian,
Mhm.
what mindset, when did you know that you wanted to kind of like spread the word? Like it's one thing to transition from hardcore to Christian, but then now you want to kind of like let people know that message. What
Yeah.
brought?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been a teacher. I've
Hmm.
always been a teacher. I worked as a youth leader. I worked in the school system as a substitute teacher at that time. And so me just and that's part of my purpose. That's part of my passion. So it just kind of naturally came. And so when I got into the church, and I wound up going to Bible school because I wanted to be able to explain the Bible in layman's terms in a way that I can go back to the streets and share it with them that way. And music is a big thing for me, and it's so crazy because I recently just shared this story. So when I got into the church, it was like, all right, I felt kind of bad because I was like, man, I can't listen to the same music I used to listen to.
Right.
And then, I went to this bookstore, is where it's called Peter and John. And I went in there and I was down and I was just like, you wouldn't happen to have any Christian hip hop type of stuff.
Right.
And it was like,
Yes.
Your story so sounds like ours.
Right.
Go ahead.
yeah, and so they was like, yeah, that we actually do. And it's a small little turner, it kind of turned. It had some CDs and it had some cassette tapes. And then from there, I actually found some. They gave me some Christian hip hop from West Coast,
Right.
gospel gangsters, and they gave me
Yeah.
some from East Coast. They gave me Cross Movement. And I think they gave
Yeah.
me Aisha too.
You
See?
So
hitting them. You hitting them.
yeah, and they gave me my dudes. What's their name? Idol King. They gave me Idol King. So and so from there I just started listening and I started finding out where they were they gonna be, through MySpace and all of that stuff. So, and then finding out and then I just wound up connecting with them.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up on a entertainment group, Rock Soul Entertainment. Um,
Uh-huh.
so I got chance to use my passion and use my gift and my skill at the same time. So get a chance to teach that way. So, but I'm always, always want to teach. And that's another reason why Sound the Alarm came about as well,
Okay.
because it was just my way of bringing my passion together, networking so we can go out to the masses.
And boy, did you have network. I mean, to like, if again, I gotta resort to your bio. It's like your bio just says it
Right.
is crazy. It's like,
Yes.
and I'm fully impressed because you don't get that in people. And I like the fact that you said, even though you're a Christian artist, you, you still listen to secular hip hop, which and I do the same thing.
Right.
And but you don't, because most people will say that we've had said to us, oh, you can't listen to secular stuff and still go. Why can't you?
Right.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of them are telling stories, and so are we.
Right.
Yeah.
Different, you know. And
Yeah.
would you say it's harder because you're a female?
Yeah. All right.
Listen.
Well,
Right.
let me say this first.
Uh-huh.
I've taken off of the title of Christian, a Christian MC.
Exactly.
I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. Like, I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an artist. I like to make music.
Right.
And sometimes my music may be a little bit more sensual because of me just sharing, just talking about either experiences or just the idea. And then sometimes it may be, me, I need to get something off my chest.
Right.
And then sometimes it will be encouraging, it will be spiritual, but I do not lock myself in to a certain way, because you can't limit an artist. You got to if that's the case, then that's not an artist.
Right.
Right.
Um, so with that being said, yes, indeed, it is harder
Right.
for females, but like I was saying back in the day, I remember being on compilations.
Mm-hmm.
Or I remember being on compilations and maybe having 3 beats to choose from because I was one of the last ones to be
Oh,
asked
wow.
to be on it, and or say being on a song and I got maybe 2 days to now write the verse for the song, because it's like a last minute thing. And it's totally fine, because what it did was, I like a good challenge.
Right.
I like a good challenge. So like every song that I was given, every beat that I was given to be a part of, I killed it.
Mm-hmm.
I killed it purposefully because I am a female. And like, I got a song called Who Is She? Every time you hear me, I want you, if you don't know me, I want you to be like, yo, who is she?
Right.
You know what I mean? So so I make sure, and we have to kill it 110%
Right.
more, and it's okay. And it is harder, not only that, because I'm a single mother of three girls, so that comes into play. Not even talking about the music aspect. It was hard because I had to try to find a babysitter, and then I had to try to find a babysitter that I can afford, so I can go to the studio, go to the shows, make sure everything is taken care of. So I definitely say it was harder, but I think it's becoming a little bit more equaled out, leveled out, and And I think like shows that I'm putting on is helping to spread that message. Like, yo, we just as dope, if not doper. Not
Right.
you. And I'm not a feminist. It's not like a women's movement or anything like that. It's just giving us a platform to continue to spotlight us. um and I relate to women more. I'm a woman. I empathize. I understand what we go through, you know what I mean, in order to be able to get up on that stage. You know what I mean, the
Yep.
conversations we have before the show, during the show, after the show, you know what I mean, to
Uh,
encourage each other. And I'm really big on encouraging women because of my testimony, the things that I went through. And like I said, I can empathize, you know.
how how do you feel about current state of hip hop when it comes to women, and whether they're hardcore or Christian, or hip hop artists in the Christian arena? Compare. How do you feel about that?
As far as hip hop artists and the female hip hop artists in the Christian arena,
Yeah.
um, some of my sisters are still there. Some of my sisters are still there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them has decided to kind of remove themselves from that stigma, But I'm okay with it. Do your thing, sis. Do
Right.
your thing. Do your thing. Rock well. And I tell everybody, hip hop is a sport.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
earn that. You have to
Right.
earn those stripes. You're not just going to get off the bench and get
Yeah.
into the game. I don't care who you are, male or female.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're dope and you have been rehearsing and practicing and, as far as ready to be in the game, to be a part of the sport, you're going to get that respect by how you carry yourself,
Right.
like with that mic,
Right.
so you got to constantly sharpen your skills. And I'm
Right.
really big on that. You know what I mean? You got to master your craft.
Right.
Yeah. When you hear music that you're working on, do you hear what comes to you first? When Would you prefer the music, or would you prefer whatever idea you have to write
Right.
for? Or it depends.
Um, Usually the song, I get the beat first.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm feeling that beat, if my job, I feel like as an MC, is to compliment the producer. And by doing that, I have to pull the story out of the track. I have to pull the story out of the beat.
I
There's a
like.
story that's being told, and I got to pull it out, you know. And so I find a story that my story that fits that particular beat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can't say I've written a song without a track behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I operate. I'm working on my album now, and it has a theme to it. So I'm making sure I'm finding tracks that complement my theme. If you feel me.
Okay.
Oh, and sometimes somebody got to scrap because I thought it was a part. It was a part of the theme, and it's not. So
Do you scrap it and like let it go, or do you kind of save it later? Maybe
It could
it
go with
might
something.
fit something else.
good question, man. I keep them. I'm grateful. I'm grateful because people have no idea. Like people sent me stuff back in like 2015. I'm going through my inbox and I'm like, yo, like they don't know I'm not done. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. And I'm grateful for all the beats that come to me because, like I said, if it doesn't happen right now, and a part of this album or this project, it can be a single later on. You
Mhm.
know.
Well, I have to ask this question because right now, we are in this place right now where we have a track, but love the track,
Very much
and
so.
we're like, okay, we know what we want to talk about, but we just haven't figured out the hook. Nothing. Have you ever gotten to a point where you just get stuck and you want to use this particular music, but
But
it's just
not
you're
hitting
stuck?
right yet.
Yes. Yes, and there has been tracks where I heard it the first time and had to pull over because I had to write to it. You
Uh,
know what I mean? Like instantly like that. And there's been tracks that I've heard in the studio like, yeah, definitely. I want this one. Send me this one. I get it home and I'm like, geez, I'm having a hard time,
right.
writing to this. So I let it sit. I've learned to go with the flow and
Right.
not try to force anything.
Right.
Because if you force it, it may not come out right. It may take way too long. So if it's not working right now, I've
Hmm.
learned to just put it to the side, be at peace with it, and then,
Right.
you know,
Move on.
yeah, just move on until. But yeah, there's been times where I started writing and wasn't able to finish it.
Well,
Yeah.
you have an event coming up. How,
Hmm.
and it's called Beauty and Bars.
Right.
How did you come up with the concept, and
What is it about?
what is it about for those who may not know?
Absolutely. So Beauty and Bars came about. I don't know. On my YouTube channel, I think somebody, they did like a challenge. Like one of my constituents, they did like a challenge to do like 16 bars or something like that, and then and then post it on social media. So I put it on social media. I also put it on my YouTube page. And
Hmm.
so when I put on my YouTube page, I just hashtag beauty and bars, and I was just like, yo, that's gonna be my hashtag. And
Right.
that was supposed to help me consistently, like just put out a 16 every so often,
Uh
and
huh.
and just putting this. I knew that I was going to put this show, that I was going to put a show together of all females on the bill. Um, I didn't know what to particularly call it, but I just knew that I wanted to get everybody on the bill.
Okay.
Oh,
And
cool.
so I feel like beauty and bars kind of, I ain't gonna say kind of, it lets you know exactly what you're gonna get.
Right.
I'm
Right.
really big and letting you know what you're gonna get. These are some beautiful women inside and out, and at the same time, they will bring these bars
Right.
with a Z on it.
Uh huh.
So I mean, that's just how I came about it. I'm really big on letting people know exactly what you're gonna get.
Right.
You
I think.
know, so
That's pretty dope.
How many artists would you say are going to be on this show?
so we have eight artists.
Hmm.
Um, seven of them rap. One of them sings. She does her neo soul thing.
That's
And,
cool.
yeah, and then we have a female producer who's going to be spotlighting her beats during a cipher session. So after all the artists do their thing, we do the show. We're gonna have a cipher. We're gonna invite different people. I mean, like a cipher back in the day, like a down the harbor type of cipher.
Oh,
Yeah. So we just bring in, continue the elements of hip hop, the essence of hip hop. So yeah. So she's going to be spotlighting. So yeah, it's eight artists and one producer.
that's. I mean that.
That's
I like
different,
that.
and I like the concept of all of that.
Definitely, I love the name. It's because it's like you said, it stands out. It tells you without telling too much
Right.
exactly what you're in for.
Yeah.
Um, with the 50 years of hip hop, um,
Where
would
do you feel Christian rap fits into all of that?
well, I wouldn't say Christian rap,
Oh,
but
well, just in general,
hip hop.
rap, hip hop. How do you feel your genre of what you do? How do you feel it gets into that?
So my genre is not Christian at
Oh,
all. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I feel like I've heard Muslim hip hop. I've heard Christian hip hop. I've heard I think I've heard Indian, and that's the subculture.
Mhm.
okay.
Culture. This is what they call it. I can't say I understand why for a long time I was a part of it, because it was like a family to an extent, and it was the support that you need, that connection, the networking that you needed. Um, but I honestly don't feel like it needs to be separated at all.
Right,
Right.
right.
Okay.
I don't believe it at all. For one, and let me just say this: some people did Christian hip hop because they didn't want to. They were Christian, but it was easier to have a, um, a more lenient standard than
Hmm.
where hip hop, is or is expected to be.
Right.
Right.
So, anybody and their mama can say they do Christian hip hop,
Right.
but I'm really big. Even when I was in that genre or in that subculture, I did it to the T. Can't nobody tell you I ain't I didn't always do music, but when I did it, it was always fire. And I give thanks for that, because that's the skills that were given me. And then I've learned to continue to sharpen my iron with those skills. So I just feel like people need to, whatever genre or culture you call hip hop, make sure you're dope in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. And I really don't think it needs to be any type of division, because just share your message.
Right.
Just share your message. Whatever your message is, if you rock and you got that boom bap, we know it's hip hop. You don't have to particularly, for me, I don't believe you have to particularly separate it.
Well, I
You know?
haven't heard boom bat in a while. That word, that phrase.
I'm old school. I'm hitting
And
noggin, neck
I,
snapping, boom bap.
and I agree totally with you with what you said, and the reason
mm-hmm.
why is because it's like it's like what you said a few minutes ago. It's like as long as you're you,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you know how they always say real recognize real,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yep.
think that's what it is. So
Yep.
and I think that I like Redman, but I also like Lecrae. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Yeah.
different. I love.
But we kind of we mesh it into one anyway,
Right.
because hip hop. Bottom line is hip hop. So
It's hip hop. It's hip hop. You can get different things from hip hop. You know, you got man, you got KRS-One
Mm-hmm.
giving a different message than Big Daddy Kane. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So it's all, KRS-One, he's one of my favorites. He's a teacher.
Right.
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And in so many different aspects, he's the teacher. So, but yeah, and then you got Nas, who's giving a different type of message.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then you got Wu-Tang, who's giving a different type of message. But it's all hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't feel like there's too much division in the world. It's too much division, and yeah.
If you had to first, who are the if you can name the artists who will be performing on your event, and the event takes place when?
Yep, April 12th, this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
April 12th, doors open at 7. It's $22. Is at the 8x10. It's a club down in Federal Hill.
Okay.
Dope spot down there, 10 East Cross Street. And yeah, so we're gonna have Finesse the Illa MC. She's
Wow.
gonna be on. We got Life the Oracle.
Okay.
We got C Notes the Boss.
Okay.
We got Martina Lynch.
I like that name.
Yeah, we got Omnia Azar.
I like that.
We have Eva Rhymes.
Okay.
We got Silhouette, aka Silo.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
And, and we got myself, She Dandelion, aka Sister D.
But
I like the names.
The
names
names
set it off.
The names is
Yeah,
like,
I'm trying to tell you, like we bring it. Then we got Tamika Thaniel, that's the producer, that's bringing her thing, Beats by Meek. So
Okay.
yeah, so we trust and believe. Everybody's bringing fire. Like nobody's slagging. Nobody's slagging.
And just from like you said, Beauty and Bar. I mean, how can you slack with a name like that?
Right.
Now, what we like to do is we tend to give. I like to call them let me make sure. We like to call them the winning thoughts questions, or win with your thought.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what this is we give you a statement.
Right.
It's almost like a fill in the blank, and you tell us what you think. All right.
Okay, let's go.
Nothing crazy.
Okay. I could have never predicted.
I could have never predicted that. I don't know, because the sky's the limit for me, for real. Like, let me think. I ain't never tried to limit myself. You know what I mean? Let me see. I could have never predicted that Trump would be president.
That part.
Actually, you're not alone with that one.
Part. You're not alone.
It's all good.
The key to happiness is
peace.
That's
The key to happiness is peace.
Because I think that a lot of people say it and they don't really necessarily understand what that entails. Meaning, they don't
break it down. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead,
please.
break it down,
please.
Yeah, for what I've learned, peace is knowing how to be present. And because a lot of times it's the shoulda, woulda, couldas. or I need to do this, I need to do that. It's learning to be present.
Right.
For me, that's what that is. That's where I find my peace. Learning how to go with God's flow. That's how I find my peace. Learning how to self care, which means like self love, and also just taking care of yourself. So that means like if you got to say no to this or no to that, you've learned to, and then also just balance, learning how to balance things out. You know, if you got to know when it's time for you to take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
My acupuncturist to say, calm down. He'd tell me all the time, Latasha, calm down, calm down. So that's peace for me, is just living in the present, and also balancing yourself out, going with the flow, and also just having a connection with the Most High.
Right.
That's thoroughly important. And when you're able to do those things, you're able to be more open to with the Most High, how He wants you to flow, and then you know how to flow. For me, that's peace. That's peace of mind. That's peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
before we go to that next question, I have got to tell you, you just said something that just kind of clicked in my head when you said peace is where you're not, because I find myself doing what you just stated. It was like, I always pray for, I want this, or I need this, please this, and whoever. It's like it's always something that but you said just be at peace, just
Be present.
and be present,
And be present.
and literally all things flow. So
Uh-huh.
that's
And
a good
what
one.
Yeah, and what's meant for you will be. And my acupuncturist always tell me, he say, don't say try, do. We don't try, we do. And he'll say, don't say hope, it's faith. So you have to move in faith, and that's just something that it's I'm still learning. Every day is different, but
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I determined that will be mine, is being able to go with the flow. And
Right.
Feel like
and I
running
learned
right.
that, yeah, you drive yourself crazy. Like I stress myself out a whole lot, and I don't want to do that no more. You know what I mean? What's meant to be will be.
Right.
Everything is as it should be. So
Right.
You just said a word.
That's a word.
Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely, give thanks. Give thanks.
you, you will never regret.
Hmm.
You will never regret.
Oh, I will never regret um taking a leap of faith.
Okay.
I
Okay.
will never regret like it's a scary thing to take a leap of faith
Yeah.
on, on anything that you do, anything that you plan, events, businesses, your ideas. That's a leap of faith. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's a leap of faith. I'll never regret it, even if it don't go as I think it should go, or it didn't go how I wanted it to go. I'll never regret that, because I took those steps. Like I'm a real estate agent. I'm licensed in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
And I also have, as you can see, I got my herbs back here. These my
Right.
babies back here. Like, this is my first love, and getting these businesses up was a leap of faith. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And I didn't know, and it's not where I wanted to be yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't regret it,
Right.
because I'm still working toward getting it to where it's um it's where I see it in my mind.
Right.
Okay.
So, but
Definitely.
I never regret taking a leap of faith.
Gotcha.
Which leads into the next question. But you might wish you had.
I might wish I had have been more consistent with my music, and more business oriented with my music.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep,
Um,
it is.
the biggest risk I ever took was.
The biggest risk I ever I don't know. I take a lot of risks
Okay.
all the time. All the time. Let me see. The biggest risk I ever took. was I don't know. I can say that sometimes I move on a whim. Like I'll have an idea and I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna do this. And
Mm.
I ain't even planned it out or nothing, but I'll do this and then I'll work toward,
Get
make it happen. I didn't already set a date, told people everything. So, but I say the biggest risk I ever took was I don't know.
okay.
Good question. That's a good question. I
And
can't say because some things that some people may see as a risk um, isn't, or I can say putting on shows. I guess putting
Yeah.
on shows because you just never know how it's going to turn out.
Right.
Sound the alarm was definitely the cookouts was a big risk because it was a lot of my own money, a lot of
Hmm.
my I didn't get a lot of support from the church. So my mom and my dad and I, we used to put the money, we put the money out ourselves,
Hmm.
so yeah, I can say that was the biggest, that was the biggest risk. It turned out great. 600 people,
Yeah.
Oh, so the first time, let me tell y'all, the first time I did it was in 2001. And I
mhm.
had, who did I had come? I had a lot of people come. I had a lot of people come. I had the truth. I had,
Oh, wow.
who all did I had? I had Todd Bangs. He came. His name was Tracy. At the time, I had Shekinah. I had a lot of different people that came, and then and even gospel gangsters came.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, so they were here in Baltimore for an interview, and so hardly nobody from the neighborhood came. It was for the neighborhood.
Uh.
Right.
Nobody from the neighborhood
Oh,
came.
wow.
But we had it set up, and we had a good fellowship. We
Hmm.
had a good network. It was a lot. It was a lot of people. Oh, Mahogany Jones came.
Uh.
Wow.
It was more. Yeah, these are my people. These are my people. So, um, yeah. But it was okay because when it was like maybe 30 of us, we all went back to my mom and dad's house, and we just fellowship. Oh,
That.
precise. Corey Red and Precise. They
Hmm.
came. Who else came? Oh man, it's coming back little by little. But anyway, we went back to the house and we all just fellowship, and
Uh-huh.
we met, and it was just great. And I tried it again next year, and it was phenomenal.
See?
Okay.
Because the purpose was all of you fellowshipping
And you all
afterwards.
knew what the purpose was, and
Right.
it kind of and it gradually grew, and you got it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I learned, and it was for the community. It was for the community. Everybody was coming to spread the word, and um, I also learned what to do different
Right.
next, how to promote different, what should I put on the flyers different,
Hmm.
who should I reach out to, what should I expect. I was expecting a lot of churches to come to. I went to a lot of churches, but they just wasn't ready for the hip hop.
Right.
Right.
So
Never be impressed by.
say that again.
Never be impressed by.
Never be impressed by be impressed. Oh, never be impressed by talk.
Di-
Right.
Facts. Facts.
Never be impressed by talk.
Never.
It's
And
all
I hope people will remember me most for.
um shining my light fiercely. That's
That's
it. I'm a light worker. Yep.
okay. If you had to let us know what was the best piece of advice
That you
that
ever
you
got.
ever got.
Everything that you need is already within you.
Okay. Now you,
Everything that you need and to move forward, to go forward, to be successful, to be dynamic is already in you. You just have to pull it out. You have to and not move on your fear. Don't don't operate in fear.
Excuse me. I got to write it down. Say that again.
Everything that you need is already inside of you. A
mhm.
lot of times we operate on fear or we operate on our and we focus on our flaws. We focus on the shoulda, woulda, couldas, our regrets, and all of that. But instead of focusing on what's already inside of us, already was put inside of us, we have to move those things out the way so we can be the best being that we can be. We are spiritual beings having human experiences.
Right.
And we forget how powerful we are.
Very much so.
You have said a lot this evening.
Whew. Now, we're going to give you two names. He's going to give you one, I'll give you the other. And you let us, what's your first thoughts about that person, okay?
Okay.
And see, we love history. So
Okay.
okay, the first one is Queen Latifah.
She's dope. That's what comes to mind first.
Okay.
She she stepped through doors, not just and on stages, not just for her, but for me, you know, and who else that's going to come behind us, that's females. Like she helped set that precedence of respect.
Right.
And I respect her greatly. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for her. You know, I know she's dope. She's not only is she an MC, but she's she sing and
Yeah.
she acts. You know what I mean? And I think she got a beauty line. I don't know what
Right.
entrepreneur, but me just first starting to know her was from the respect that she made sure that she received, and that was the message that was put out. So I
Right.
get that for her.
Well, here's another person who's somewhat similar but totally different in her own way.
Okay.
Lauryn Hill.
Oh, that's my sister. That's my sister. That's my sister. No, she's one of my favorite artists. And not just female artists, but she's one of my favorite artists.
Mm-hmm.
And because Lauren put out one full project,
Right.
and that's all she needed to put out. She's a classic
Right.
in herself. Like, who does that? Who
Right.
can do that? That
Not-
says a lot about that person.
Right.
Let me see. I did listen to her Unplugged, and I loved her Unplugged as well. I loved this. A lot of people didn't, because they was like, it's just not the Lauren that they were looking for, that they was expecting. Right. She did that for her. She's a spiritual person,
Right.
and I love it. I love the light that she gives, the energy that she gives off. Like, I love it. So yeah, she's one of my top.
I still listen to that CD, and
Yep.
and he knew I was a big fan, but I would always listen to, even though she didn't do anything after those two first projects, I listened to stuff like when she did for Aretha Franklin, the song she did for Jay. Just people didn't know she was a hot producer as well. So
Right.
Like she she did she did covers, but she also did, with Nas. Like, I don't know if you heard one of the Nas, what was it? King Disease. She got a song.
Oh yeah.
Nobody.
Have we? Yes.
yeah, that was that I kept that on repeat.
I don't know the exact line, but one of the lines in that particular song, she said, she was basically referencing, instead of y'all focusing on
My lateness.
that
Right.
No, you worried about somebody, talking about, like, the greatness. Stop worrying about my lateness. I know it too. I know it too. Don't get me excited.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, if people wanted to get in contact with you, how could they find you on social media, emails? How could they do that?
They can find me on, like I said, I have, not only am I a real estate agent, I'm a herbalist as well. So I do have social media handles for everything, as well as me being an artist. So as far as artistry wise, you can find me on Instagram as She Dandelion. My nickname is D, so you can spell D within that. So She Dandelion. That's on Instagram. On YouTube, it's Sistah D, SISTAHDEE. And I am on Facebook as Sistah D. That's my personal page. It's totally cool. And then I have a fan page, Sistah D, aka She Dandelion.
Okay.
As far as my herbs, you can find me on Facebook as All That Goodness. And you can find it on Instagram as All That Goodness, the number 2. And I do free consultations for people to help. I help with make custom herbs according to whatever the ailment is.
Okay.
Then I also make preventative herbs as well. Yeah, and then so yeah, and then on as far as my real estate, you can find me on Instagram as Latasha D. Gets keys.
Okay.
Uh, and then same thing on Facebook, Latasha D. Gets keys / real estate agent, and then YouTube, Latasha D. Gets keys.
Thank
So
you. Now, if they wanted to attend this Friday at the event, when, where, who, what, when, where, and why?
you can buy at the door. You can
Okay.
buy at the door. It's 22, same price as it is online. 10 East Cross Street. But then you can also go online. I mean, you can go on Facebook and you can find it. It's called, Beauty and Bars at the Hip Hop at the 8x10. It's
Okay.
right on Facebook. You can find it. And if you follow me, you can see my link is in that link is in all my bios.
Okay.
All my artistry bios.
Definitely. And we definitely want to say, first, we want to give a shout out to Rube Rice. Thank you.
Rube, thank you, Rube.
Yeah.
Quiet as kept. He's one of my he's my main producer and engineer, and he's doing me great right now.
Woo, there's no words that could best describe his style, who he is as a person. He listens, and I think a lot of producers who claim to be producers, they don't listen. And when I say listen, I don't mean listen to music. I mean listen to the artist and the music to have the two mesh very well. He does that very well.
Yes, let me say this. Like I told him, like he came to me. I was on another interview like this, and he was just like, "Yo, get at me," and I never did, and I think like he really, just got at me because he said he sees how dope I am. And I told him, I just really wasn't working with anyone to help develop that part of me. And I felt like I was dope. But when I got with Rube, I'm like, yo, I'm unstoppable.
Right.
And because honestly, like I told him, I said, you listen. That's exactly what I said. I said, you listen and you work to make the artist look good.
Right.
And without he doesn't have to like. I ain't talking about like no auto tunes and nothing like that. Like he knows what compliments the artist. And I had to redo. It was one song that I did in 4 different studios, and I just could not get it right. And then when I got with him and we did it in the studio, I was like, yo,
see,
this is magical.
Right.
He is what I would like to call Maryland's best kept secret.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
And
saying. He's a dope brother. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for him. I tell him all the time. Yeah.
He, like I said, he'll listen to you. He'll listen to what you do. Most producers won't incorporate their opinion because sometimes artists don't want that. But we do.
We always say you need a producer that's literally, even if some of the stuff that you're doing is like off, bad, or wrong, like he'll let you know.
Definitely.
No,
like,
he will. He will, and I love it. I love it. Like he's producing my album. Like and like I said, even though I've been doing music for a very, very long time, and I've never put out. I've been on, as you can see, I've been on compilations. I've been features, different things, but I never put out my own project. And this one is very, very, very close to my heart. I may put out others later, but this one is very close to my heart, and I would not have anybody else produce this album other than Rube Rice. So thank you, Rube.
Definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, like we always say, we always our show is called the Radio Twins Experience, and the reason why we call it experience is because we tend to experience individuals that we find interesting
and everyone has a story to tell.
Right. And as you can see, she's a very good story to tell. I mean, lyricist, producer, organizer.
We don't do this.
Right.
If anytime you have anything new,
let us know.
We'll post it. We would love to interview you again. So
and play one of your cuts on our radio show as well. I mean,
there's one particular cut I do like.
It's called 2 Chronicles 20.
2 Chronicles 20. It's based, like
I think I told you in text. I said, by the way, that's the one that really caught me. Now, the rest of your music I like too as well. But that's the one I'm like,
wait a minute. And Jay is usually like, he'll listen to some stuff before I do, or when I get a chance to sit down. And I was like, I'll get his opinion. So what songs should I listen to, or which ones do you think are the ones that like stick out to you? And I get an idea. And, you know, this time I didn't do that. And I just listened to some of the songs, and then lo and behold, it happens to be the same
one that I mentioned to
Oh
you.
wow!
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. That's twins for you. I guess.
Right.
You know?
Like, you fired.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. You fired. That song is ridiculous.
Right.
Thank you. No, and it was based on, like I said, you know exactly what you get, and it was based off of it was based off of Second Chronicles chapter 20, you know, and in the Old Testament with Jehoshaphat. So yeah, that was a dope song. That was a dope song.
Woo, yeah,
definitely. So continue doing what you do,
and we look forward to your new music coming out soon.
Definitely, especially since you have rice on it too as well.
Right.
That's like I don't know why this popped in my head. It's like when you hear Rube and then you, I think like Jam and Lewis with Janet.
Right.
That's just me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I take that. I take all of that. I take all of that. Nah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Nah, but thank you guys so much for taking the time to speak with me, to have this conversation. I love sharing my story. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I'm just grateful for what the Most High is doing with me now and through me, and just continually trying to be a blessing and a light. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be interviewed by us, even though we don't like to call it an interview. We like to say more of a conversation.
Right.
Because without individuals such as yourself, most people would know what it is that you do, your background, or anything, like you being a realtor. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you do that a lot of people, especially here in Maryland, need to know about, you know? And we're glad of that. And thank you, just like you said, like we said, thank you for giving us the opportunity, because without Rue mentioning, we probably never would have known. Right. You know? So
and
thank you.
We can't give that to the world.
Right.
Yeah. I'm grateful.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, get to know Sistah D.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
All right.
You as well. Peace.